And just like that, we are back. Kansas City Chiefs football 2025 kicked off today. Training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri, with the Kansas City Chiefs on the practice field for the first time in the 2025 season. And just real quick, guys, I want to let you know that the Kansas City Chiefs did sign a wide receiver. I will have a video on that later on tonight. But what we are here for today is a recap of the Chiefs' first training camp practice. And I want to start here because this is the only place to start. There were team drills today. There were basically starting lineups on display today. There were first team reps taken today. And guess what? We get this from PG Sween, Pete, at PG Sween on Twitter/X. Chiefs are running Josh Simmons at left tackle and Jalen Moore at right tackle with Jawan Taylor on pup. Now, obviously, the headline here is Josh Simmons is on pace for week 1, snap 1 left tackle, starting left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. A minor note here before we return to Josh Simmons, Jalen Moore being given the nod at the right tackle spot. This is important because what it means is that the Chiefs are not tied down to playing Jalen Moore only at left tackle. Where are the true implications of this? Well, here's what it really means. Josh Simmons hopefully is the starting left tackle. Jawan Taylor has competition at right tackle. And if you are not a firm believer in Kingsley Suamataia, he has competition at left guard, I would assume, as well. It might be that Jalen Moore would refuse to play left guard because he would refuse to play guard. I doubt that would be the case. He's already getting the money. But Josh Simmons at the left tackle position, week 1, snap 1, is absolutely monumental for this franchise because it says that they trust him. They're giving him the first look. They're giving him the first nod. They did not go with Jalen Moore at left tackle and Josh Simmons at right tackle. They did not go with Wanye Morris, who knows the system, etc. They did not do any of these things. They are not toying around with it. They are not using the, oh, well, he's a rookie, he has to earn it type deal. Yeah, he'll have to earn it, but it really will be his to lose. At least that's how it appears at this point in time. There's another tweet from later in the day that will shed a little bit more light, I believe, on exactly what the Chiefs have in Josh Simmons. But guys, one of the exciting things about this practice that we're going to see in a moment, the Chiefs are going to score 5,000 points this year. Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for 6,000 yards. Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for 60 touchdowns, and the Chiefs have 9 wide receivers that are going to make the roster. That's my prediction. They're only going to carry 2 running backs. They're going to go with 7 offensive linemen. 9 wide receivers will make this roster. The next tweet worth talking about, Caleb James had tweeted, and most of these are sourced, by the way, from the Arrowhead Pride article, so I would love to send you over there as well. They have all of the source material. Simmons, Suamataia, Humphrey, Smith, Moore to start on the line for Kansas City. And then top Trevor responds Orlando Brown Jr., Donovan Smith, Joe Thuney, and now Josh Simmons. It's pretty crazy how the Kansas City Chiefs have been able to achieve dynastic results despite having 4 different left tackles in the last 4 years. It's unheard of. Probably the only thing that would be more impressive than that for a franchise to do would be to have 4 starting quarterbacks over the same dynastic period. That's the only thing you could do to be more impressive than having 4 left tackles. And it looks now like the Kansas City Chiefs might have the starting left tackle for at least 5 years, right? So that would be the rookie contract, but we're seeing Brett Veach pay homegrown talent. So if he does blow up and become the left tackle that everyone basically to a man, believes that Josh Simmons can be, then he could be the last left tackle of the Patrick Mahomes era in Kansas City, hopefully sometime in the 2060s. It sure would be good for this channel, right? The next tweet worth talking about comes from Caleb James, and guys, it is a chef's kiss for this channel. Just let me know. Let me know. Was this where you first heard about Mac Dalena? Be honest. Some of you have to say yes. A diving catch by Mac Dalena excites the crowd in the unit period. Talk about a unit. Look at Mac Dalena's numbers. Now, size-wise, maybe not so much, 5'10", 180, but the Chiefs have several receivers smaller than that, at least one meaningfully smaller than that. Bench press, 11 reps, not great. Not great there. 38.5-inch vertical, 10-foot 5-inch broad jump, very, very good numbers there. A 4.36 40-yard dash. A suspect 10-yard split, but it is unofficial, so who knows exactly what's going on there. And then a short shuttle of 4.13. That scores 8.66 out of 10. Mac Dalena, if he's real, and again, if he's real, this is one catch in one training camp practice, I know, but please do not try to temper my expectations. I need this. Mac Dalena, if he's real, could be a transformative player for the offense. I suspect in year 2, but if this holds up and he's making these splash plays every day, they're going to roster him in 2025. But why could a very small receiver who is low on the roster be transformative for the offense? Because once you get down into the depth, most teams, and especially here in Kansas City in the past few years, most teams don't have guys that can keep the chains moving. We've seen how excruciatingly efficient Patrick Mahomes can be when the chains are moving. And I don't mean excruciating for us. I mean, we've been on the other side of those quarterbacks in the past, and it is excruciating. We know how that feels when it's 3rd and 4 and you know it's first down. Just move the chains, get it over with. Don't break my heart, right? But that is the type of player that Patrick Mahomes in this offense has never really had. All of the real production in this offense has mostly been from, well, I say all and mostly, but has been from the stars. When it was Tyreek Hill at wide receiver, Travis Kelce at tight end, and it was 3rd and 4, one of those players got the ball most of the time. If Mac Dalena becomes real, becomes the player that he can be, becomes the shifty little slot receiver, it sounded like it was going somewhere real bad, didn't it? That he looks like he can be, that transforms an offense into being unstoppable. I don't know that Mac Dalena will ever be the bombs away guy. I just don't. But he can, in my opinion, be the guy that's going to get that completion on 3rd and 4. The Chiefs have a couple of those guys, and we're going to talk about one in a moment as well. But Mac Dalena here, I think, really stands a chance to be a transformative player for this offense, not by himself, again, but by the depth of the team and being someone who can be counted on to make big catches for small yardage in big moments. Matt Derrick tweets out, first round of 7-on-7 and Patrick Mahomes 4 of 4. Deep ball to Xavier Worthy over the middle to Noah Gray and 2 short throws to Rashee Rice. So I made a video. I do want to talk about this real quick because I think that the video I made about Rashee Rice yesterday, after I posted it, seemed like it may have been short-sighted, seemed like it may have been oblivious to the consequences of what was really going on. The biggest hidden gem in what might be the catastrophe that was Rashee Rice acting like an absolute fool. No one died. Rashee Rice can learn from that. And it looks like he has. Rashee Rice can, because I don't think he's a bad person, right? I think that he made a boneheaded decision. And if he learns from that and thinks and realizes, not thinks, realizes, because I think most of us have been there. If I am that big a bonehead, I can screw something up very, very bad, right? And if this is transformative for him in that way, that is the biggest golden lining to the situation. Citadel Chief sort of piggybacks on the Matt Derrick quote, Mahomes on pace for 1,000 yards passing and 100 touchdowns. You can leave the Lombardi on the front porch. Roger. 1,000 yards in the first 2 weeks of the season. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe he meant 10,000. Maybe he forgot a zero there, but I do understand the sentiment. Mahomes has done this before, right? Looked very, very good in training camp. But I think that some of the plays that I've seen, he looks in mid-season form as far as vision and angles are concerned. I mean, he is threading the needle around defenders, especially to Rashee Rice from all of the stuff that I have seen. Caleb James chimes in, excellent coverage by Hicks on Brown to start the 11-on-11 period. Hollywood Brown is a speed merchant. Jaden Hicks is not the fastest guy on the field. If Jaden Hicks is in the position like he was in minicamp, like he's been before, if he's in position to be better in coverage, to be deceptively good in coverage, like it would take to be able to cover a guy who is meaningfully faster than you are. If he is making that next step, the defense can be phenomenal this year. This might be one of the best defenses we've seen the Chiefs field. You're looking at Omar Norman-Lott, who is probably talent-wise the best defensive tackle next to whom Chris Jones has ever played. You're looking at Ashton Gillotte, who is going to, if he adds anything across from George Karlaftis, it is going to be more than was there most of the time last season. I think Charles Omenihu, hopefully finally having a full season for the Kansas City Chiefs, could be a difference maker for this team. This defense, and again, it's day one of training camp, trying not to get too amped up, but I'm amped up, right? The defense, if Jaden Hicks takes that next step, like we've been talking about here most of the offseason, Jaden Hicks taking that next step. If it happens and Jaden Hicks becomes a superstar safety, teams will be in trouble. Patrick Mahomes could be Mike Tyson this season, throwing Hail Marys, throwing knockout blows in the second quarter and ending the game there. Again, I know that this is what are we here for? We're here to be fans. Here's one thing that I am guilty of. Well, hyping up things, right? But I am guilty of always forgetting about Chamarri Connor. And I am guilty of not realizing just how much Chamarri Connor has played. Chamarri Connor with an INT off a deflection in the end zone during a 7-on-7 heads-up play from Matt McMullen. Now, Chamarri Connor, just as a refresher, going into his third season with the Kansas City Chiefs, third of a 4-year rookie deal, scored a 9.16 RAS, is 6 feet tall, 202 pounds, 20 reps on the bench press. That's a good number. 40.5-inch vertical. Brett Veach seems to value the vertical leap as far as the numbers go. A 10-foot 5-inch broad jump. A 4.5 140-yard dash, which is not the fastest, but it's nothing to be afraid of on the field. A 1.5 6-10-yard split, 4.3 short shuttle, and 6.91 3-cone drills, both pretty good numbers there. Chamarri Connor somehow last season ended up playing 573 snaps. That's quite a few snaps. 305 snaps as a rookie. this is a guy that was sort of, I believe, listed as a defensive back by the official Kansas City Chiefs roster page, meaning they want to do different things with him. If you go back up to the RAS score, he was listed at free safety coming out of college. Chamarri Connor has the tools to be on the field. Chamarri Connor has the ability to make plays. I don't know that I have seen that much consistency with him, and maybe that's just me, right? Now he earned 305 snaps as a rookie, 573 snaps in his sophomore campaign. He also saw his special teams usage drop from 330 down to 187, meaning that these were not accidental reps. We actually need you on special teams. This was by plan and design. At least that's what it communicates to me. If he is more consistent, if he is more aggressive than what I have witnessed, I hesitate to say scouted because that seems like I'm trying to make myself sound grandiose. But if he is more consistent and aggressive than I have noticed, I think he can be a plus player in the league. I haven't really noticed that yet. But if that happens too, I mean, if it's two young starting safeties for the Kansas City Chiefs, Jaden Hicks and Chamarri Connor, then it becomes one of these things where the Chiefs have one of the youngest, deepest secondaries in the league. Secondaries are way more valuable than it used to be that they were because the NFL is a passing league and geared towards the offensive side of the ball. So if you can stop the pass, it behooves you to be able to do that, right? It means that you are more difficult to win against. Chamarri Connor here, one play, right? Again, just an interception off a deflection. It's not like he made a one-handed diving interception in the end zone off Patrick Mahomes and what was a beautiful pass. But this is one of those players that you're looking for this season. Can Chamarri Connor take that next step? Can Chamarri Connor be that next starting safety? Can Chamarri Connor be a difference maker for this defense? And then, guys, wouldn't you know it? Heart of my heart, soul of my soul, Nico Remigio makes a diving catch deep down the middle of the field during 11-on-11. Play of the day so far. This wide receiver group, and we're going to see this a little bit with the video tonight about the guy they just signed. I think he's very far away, but if he can take to coaching, he's got a chance in the league. Definitely a Justin Ross type. So they were signing to have that kind of body on the roster. But they did, I'll talk about the other two players that they brought in as well to have a tryout. But it's going to be very hard for the Chiefs to make cuts, I think, this year. It could be a situation where they do have someone that they can trade in an Amir Smith-Marset type fashion, grow a little bit in the draft pick department. Probably not huge draft picks, right? You're not getting a third-round pick if you're trading away Hal Presley. But I do think that they can stand to... But what Brett Veach uses that for is leverage to move up in rounds, right? He wants to move up in the 5th round. He'll give you his 5th and that 7th. So it could be a situation where they end up being able to perpetuate this dynasty even further simply by the fact that they have brought in so many names at wide receiver that a couple of them work out, but we just don't have the space for them. I would love to see Nico Remigio on the Chiefs this year. I would love to see Mac Dalena as a Kansas City Chief 53-man roster player this year. Nico Remigio adds all of that value in the special teams department. Nico Remigio has proven himself in small ways on the offensive side of the ball in the NFL so far, but he's gritty. Nico Remigio is gritty. He is a make-the-catch at all costs type. You will see him dive. You will see him lay out. You will see him make the catch from the ground. Patrick Mahomes needs that guy. Patrick Mahomes has had so few quote-unquote that guys, whether that's a shifty slot receiver, which Nico Remigio's presence may keep Mac Dalena on the practice squad this year because they are they're not similar receivers, but they're receivers who will probably have similar roles. It's just going to be very, very interesting as the days wear on, seeing who Patrick Mahomes ends up liking in this offense, because I do believe he'll probably have some input as far as who makes the 53. This from Caleb James. Karlaftis flushes Mahomes from the pocket on 11, forcing an incompletion. George, it is time to earn that money. There was a video a couple days ago on the channel about the George Karlaftis. Was that a couple days ago or yesterday? I can't remember. It was a live stream about the George Karlaftis contract, and Karlaftis is is an above average starter. I think that he does have the ability to be a plus starter, that he can be one of those top tier guys. I think that part of what has held him back this far is the Chiefs don't have any other defensive ends that an offense has to worry about. So if you're going to dedicate resources to pass blocking, you bring a tight end in, you keep a back in the backfield. It's, hey, there's Chris Jones, there's George Karlaftis, figure it out, right? So George Karlaftis, it is time to earn that money. I believe this is the final. Yeah, this is the final one. So Caleb James tweets out, look at Josh Simmons working on some Indy Pass Pro drills, quick feet. And Jeff Mueller follows this up with something, a keen observation that I would not have myself made. No brace. Nothing. My goodness. It does appear Josh Simmons rope-a-doped the entire NFL in order to fall to the Kansas City Chiefs. Everyone, every scouting report, every article, every television segment that talked about Josh Simmons said, hey, he might never play football again, or hey, he's probably not going to play early this year, or hey, when will you get him back, or hey, that knee might never be the same. Here he is, day one of training camp. No brace, no sleeve, shorts, and cleats. That's it. That is it on Josh Simmons. So, if this is a hoodwink, a back table deal between Andy Reid, Brett Veach, and Josh Simmons to scare everyone else in the NFL, this is a 4D chess move. Pretend you're injured. Pretend whatever you have to say. And we will select you in the first round. The money's not going to be that much different the later in the first round you go. Get yourself on a dynasty, son. If that is what happened here, I like to think that's what happened here. Anyway, guys, that is the recap of day one of training camp for the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, I'll be back later with a video on the wide receiver the Kansas City Chiefs just signed. If you like or appreciate this sort of thing, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, so consider hitting the subscribe button to stick around. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.